In part 1, I showed how I embellished the fabric panel blocks. In this video, I will show how I quilted and finished my lap quilt. To plan my quilting, I photocopied a couple of the dress blocks and drew some designs through the polka dots. Then I started quilting. The first design was small blocks using the polka dots. This was very time-consuming and used only about 5 stitches between each turn of the fabric. I quickly learned I needed to use a bigger pattern to make this project manageable. For this block, I just continued on with the pattern. I pulled the basting pins out as they got in the way of my sewing. I used some pins to mark the dots at the bottom of the block so the pattern would line up with the top of the block. It was a lot of work, but I liked the block when it was finished. I used a friction marker to draw the rest of the designs on the block to make it easier to follow the pattern as I quilted. Then I quilted all the blocks. I decided to change the pattern I had drawn on one of the blocks and used a hot iron to erase the friction marks and redraw a new pattern on this block. Then I continued quilting. I also used the iron to remove the marks from all the blocks when I was finished quilting. When the quilting was done, I cut off all the edges of the fabric. I love the sound of the rotary cutter. Then I buried all the loose threads with the needle, pulling the thread into the middle of the batting and clipped the tails. The last step was to add the binding. I used a double fold binding and started by pinning the binding to the back side of the quilt. Then I sewed it all the way around, leaving a gap at the ends so that I could join the binding together. I was careful not to catch the extra fabric in the corners when sewing. That way they could flip over to the other side nice and neatly. If you're enjoying this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe so you can see my next projects. I joined the ends together, marking where they would match up together with the iron. and joined them on an angle to reduce the bulk. Once sewn, I just clip the ends off and finish sewing the binding to the quilt. When that was done, I simply folded the binding over to the right side and top stitched all around. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Every block is different and it's got a lot of texture. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thanks for watching.